their their accolades, that is called Pauda. Whenever a warrior's tale is told, or whenever a victory of these people are narrated, they select a form called Pauda, that is in Maharashtra. Then Swang, S-W-A-N-G. Swang is called famous in Rajasthan, Haryana, UP and MP. It's basically a music-based one. Tamasha again is there in Maharashtra. Tamasha is restricted to Lavani songs. Lavani is a language, an area in Maharashtra where Lavani songs are romantic as well as they have a slang by itself. So theater form related to Lavani songs is called Tamasha, that is there in Maharashtra. It is not there in any of the state, only Maharashtra. Ojapati is again formed in Assam. Oja means the person who will be there in the center of the stage narrating everything. All characters revolve around him. That is called Ojapati. Oja is the important person who is center of the stage. Then Yakshagana is for Karnataka. Lot of decoration will be there. Like, it's not exactly like Kathakali, but some kind of a decoration marring the original figure of the person, that is there in Yakshagana. Yakshagana is limited to Maharashtra, limited to Karnataka. Karnataka, borders of Karnataka are with Maharashtra. So earlier, Maharashtra, Karnataka people of Belgaum and those areas used to go to Maharashtra areas and performing Yakshagana. That's how the word theater, Yakshagana, when it was performing in part of Maharashtra, from there Maharashtra theater got an idea of writing a play, getting enacted a play. Everything started by seeing Yakshagana of Karnataka when they are playing in parts of Maharashtra. Then Theyyam, T-H-E-Y-Y-A-M, Theyyam. Theyyam is a form of Kerala. And Krishnattam, Mudiyetti, Kodayattam. These three again forms of Kerala. Any attam is ending with attam. Simply keep in your mind it belongs to Kerala. Then Terukuttu is the form for Tamil Nadu. Terukuttu is for it's for rain goddess. A particular season it will be enacted. Mudiyettu, when I am talking about Mudiyettu, it's again UNESCO has declared as an intangible heritage form. Mudiyettu. With this, all theatre forms prevailing in India up to modern times are covered. The various forms are covered. Then I am moving to puppetry. Puppetry is a entertainment plus education purpose. This particular art was designed where many people will not be there, no education, and then no makeup is not required, a theater is not required, poorer areas, but you have to narrate something important to them. You narrate particularly the stories, tales of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata, such kind of winning the good over the bad. If that is to be told through characters known to the people, this particular form was selected with very limited expenditure. This used to be performed in the rural areas of India. So this puppetry was particularly designed for the rural areas of India. Here, educating the people, entertaining the people, at the same time, those two are the main purposes. Sending a message. That's why The social issues are generally not played through puppetry. Only the mythological events, the historical events used to get played where people are familiar with the characters of the mythology. The puppetry is of 4 types. Puppetry has got now its oldest reference in Silapadikaram in Tamil Nadu. From this Silapadikaram, the origin of puppetry now can be rooted, can be noted. 4 types of puppetry are available. First is string puppetry. String puppetry is nothing but you can make with a thick paper the characters of anything. If you are playing Ramayana, Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Ravana, all these characters can be cut to a size with a thick sheet, adorn them, and then with drawings and all that, you can give you can paint them their figures on this cut paper, thick paper, or cut on the leather also. Leather can be converted into figurines, and they can be painted so that anybody can identify what character is what, and they are played by human beings either behind a curtain or before the curtain with the help of strings or with some kind of devices. They can make the figures move. The figurines are prepared in such a way there can be hand movements, there can be leg movements. Each part is attached to in some way where through a operation of a string you tie to that particular a limb, you can move the limb. You can move vigorous fashion, slowly you can move, so that various actions of that particular character through that figurine can be shown to the people who are watching it. String puppets, they are controlled by the strings. There will be 4 or 5 strings will be there. They take the end of the string, they operate with their fingers attached to each string is attached to one finger of your either hand, and then with moving each finger, whatever movement you want to require, you can easily move the particular part of the figurine. That is string puppetry, operated by strings. For example, Katputli is the form of Rajasthan. Here no legs will be there. That's why, not to show the legs, the figurine is given a long skirt so that you can't see the legs. That is one trick they play. Second is Kundai, is Kundhei, is another form of Orissa. Same puppetry, string puppetry in Orissa is called Kundai. Gombeata is in Karnataka. This is designed on the lines of Yakshagana. It means the movements will be like that. The shape of the figures, the painting of the figures, everything will be like Yakshagana figures, Yakshagana people. Bommalata is a kind of string puppetry native to Tamil Nadu, there in AP also. Here rods and strings both are used. Second is shadow puppetry. Shadow puppetry means puppet is operated either through strings or some means. The movements will be shown, of course, behind a curtain where light will be focused, so that the movements of the puppets will be shown in the form of shadows by the people who are watching it from the screen. On the screen, the shadow will be playing, and then people are watching it. This is called shadow puppetry. This is the shadow puppetry example, sir. Togadu Gombeata in Karnataka. Here the figurines are very small in size. Tolu Bommalata is in Andhra Pradesh, where compared to Togadu Gombeata, Tolu Bommalata figures are big. Ravana Chaya is another shadow puppetry native to Orissa. The third kind of puppetry is rod puppet. Rod puppet is famous in Bengal and Orissa. That's why I told you in the first string puppetry, strings and rods both are used in Bommalata of Tamil Nadu. Here in rod puppetry, only rods will be used. This is native to Bengal and Orissa. Putul Nach is the example of rod puppets in West Bengal. Putul Nach. Orissa rod puppet. Yamapuri, Yamapuri, Y-A-M-P-U-R-I, is a rod puppetry of Bihar. Then fourth one is glove puppets. Glove puppets is nothing but in the hand gloves on each finger, one figure is drawn, or no, entire figurine can be taken to glove, and then no hands are operating. You are not seen, but your hands, no, at a raised platform, you are operating your hands where characters are, no, each character, each finger has got a character and they are operating. That is glove puppet. Glove puppetry. Form is used. One form which is now famous in Kerala, Pava Kuthu, P-A-V-A-K-O-O-T-H-U, Pava Kuthu is example for glove puppetry in Kerala. But glove puppetry is not available all parts of the country. It's there in Kerala. Then puppetry is closed. We covered theater, we covered puppetry. Now we are going to UNESCO intangible heritage forms. There are 13 UNESCO intangible forms are there, wherein no UNESCO has declared them as intangible forms. Intangible, you cannot touch them, you can only feel them. Tangible, a heritage site like Agra, Taj Mahal is a tangible, you can touch, you can feel. But intangible is only you can enjoy, but you cannot touch. A play, a dance, a form of art, these are all called, no, these all can come under intangible. In 2008 to 2010, UNESCO has 2008, UNESCO has started listing intangible heritage forms. In India, till now, there are 13 intangible cultural heritage forms. 5, 6, 7 of them covered in yesterday and today's lecture. However, I am reading out so that now whatever is not, you haven't noted down or whatever I haven't mentioned, those things you can note down. Kodiyattam, I told you it's a Kerala theatrical tradition. So wherever intangible form is there now, what you can perceive from that is the similar form. The form will have certain rules and that cannot be repeated or that cannot be modeled elsewhere. It will have an area where no, that form is famous or indigenous to a particular area. A form is, it is bound by certain traditions and rules so that it is, you cannot see that all over India. Though the form is available in India, you cannot see it in all places, all states of India. That is it. Kodiyattam, Kerala, it's a dance, theatrical form. Second, this I haven't told you, Vedic chanting. When you are chanting the Vedic hymns, HYMNS, verses, then no, you will have to read out in a particular style. There should be a rhythm in that, where you have to break it down, where it can be go in a continuous fashion. It is related to, chanting is related to your, they are not taught to the people also in a similar way, where the same pattern is continued till ages. 4 or 5 generations, you will see there won't be much of the difference in chanting of the Vedic terms. So the chanting of Vedic terms, when you are doing it in religious occasions, the chanting itself is listed under UNESCO's intangible heritage farm. Third is Ram Leela. I told you it's a folk theater of UP. Ramman, just now I told you it's a festival plus theater in Gadwal districts of Uttarakhand. Mudiyettu, just now I told you it's a Kerala ritual folk dance plus theater. Kalbela, yesterday I told you it's related to a sect of people, Kalbelians in Gujarat, where they dance. It's a snake-like movements are there. I told you yesterday. Chow dance for Eastern India, Orissa, West Bengal, Jharkhand. Yesterday we covered in folk dances, Chow dance. Then the one which is not covered, you will write down, is Buddhist chanting. Just like our Vedic chanting, the Buddhist chanting in Ladakh region of erstwhile J&K, Ladakh region, Buddhist chanting is listed under UNESCO's intangible heritage farm. Sankirtan, this is another thing which is in Manipur. This is singing with the drums and dancing. This is again a form which is not there in any of the places. It is available only in Manipur. This is called Sankirtan. Tenth one is traditional brass utensils craft making. You see, in Punjab, there is a tradition to prepare a brass vessel. The art of making a brass vessel is listed under UNESCO's intangible heritage farm. Here, brass vessel is not coming under heritage intangible farm. The art of making a brass vessel which you cannot touch. The art of making a brass vessel, no, in Punjab, that is coming under intangible heritage form. Then yoga, which now generally purifies mind, body and soul. Yoga is coming under intangible heritage form. Nowroz is the festival of Parsis. Nowroz is festival of New Year. Parsis New Year. There is a particular way of celebrating it. That is also listed under heritage UNESCO's list. Then Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela, you know, recently also Kumbh Mela happened. This Kumbh Mela happens in 4 places. They are in Nashik, Prayag, Haridwar and Ujjain. 4 places Kumbh Mela happens. This Kumbh Mela is also placed as heritage farm under UNESCO, intangible heritage farm. With this, we have covered the main subheadings of performing arts under art. Now we are moving to performing arts, visual arts. I told you 2 aspects. Now performing arts we have covered. Now we are going to the visual arts. Visual arts, architecture, sculpture, pottery, and your what are all there? Visual arts, architecture, sculpture, painting, and then pottery, UNESCO tangible heritage sites. Just like in these performing arts, we studied about UNESCO's intangible forms. Now in the visual arts, we study about UNESCO's tangible forms. That means now there you can touch, you can feel. That is tangible forms. These 3-4 aspects we will cover under performing arts, under visual arts. So I'm going into the visual arts. Visual arts first is, I will give you 1-2 minutes about current Indian theatre. Indian theatre post 1940, 1850 onwards, no, Indian theatre was prevalent. They say Indian theatre started from Bengal with the Parsi influence. Bengal, few playlets were written, and then no, they got popular in Bengal, but it did not go into the depths of the other parts of India. When Yakshagana troupe from Belgaum entered into Sangli of Maharashtra, the king of Sangli liked the Yakshagana. He instructed one of his court poets to write a play so that it can be enacted not on the lines of Yakshagana, but should be better than that. Bombay happened to be the seat of power in Maharashtra, but theatre did not get roots in Bombay. Theatre in Maharashtra started in Sangli. Sangli is a small town belonging to a Raja. This Raja happened to be a great fan of arts and music, so he requested his court poet Mr. Bhave, Vishnudas Bhave, to write a drama so that it can be enacted. He wrote the first drama called Sita Swayamvar. Sita Swayamvar later on got very prominence. It was a big hit, and then with that the roots of theatre in Maharashtra started. From there, many parts, many plays were written, many Natak Mandals have come. Ultimately, from there it went to Lucknow, where Raja of Awadh, one Wajid Ali Shah, he liked, and then he started encouraging theatre. There, many more playlets have come, many more dramas have come. So, Bengal to Sangli, Sangli to Bombay, Bombay to Lucknow. This is the route, the Indian theatre past. So it went on, and the course of Indian theatre transformed drastically from the history, from the mythology to history to the contemporary issues, and subsequently during Indian liberation, the basic rights of the human beings, social reforms, and then the changes that require in a human mentality. Later on, the questioning power of the humanity. Now, after that, fighting for the rights. It went on. It went on for a century. It went on for half a century, where human liberation, human reforms, and then questioning power of the human beings was taken a primary aspect for any drama. After that, when it is getting more and entertainment based dramas have been coming nowadays, so Indian theatre is now currently restricted to, of course, every state has got a particular form of theatre, but majority of the states, the theatre's main role now happened to be the entertainment to the people. It was not reformist oriented. Indian theatre was at the height of its popularity when reformist movement was going on. That is so. Currently, that is the trend. Current trend is not required. Up to Vijay Tendulkar's Ghajiram Kotwal, that can be taken as the route where Indian theatre got evolved.
Sir, shall we start again, sir?
With this advanced information.
Excuse me, sir. The
Yes,
session will end, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Padma, will you end the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.